Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Camera Yogi 23. Today the weather is very, the weather is, I would say, partly cloudy. You can see the sun over there and then clouds all over. But I'm not saying that it's gonna rain, but these are not rain clouds. They are just helping to shield out the sun so that, to keep the heat away. It's not very, as hot as yesterday. Today it's of course warm, but not like as hot as yesterday. Yesterday was terrible, man. So it was very, very hot yesterday. So today, because it is not very hot, I just want to do some work. Before I do that, I just want to show how this garden looks like after the work that I did yesterday. So this is the lawn that I cut yesterday. So that's how it looks like. So nice, man. I'm happy about what happened. So nice. It's very, very nice. Very, very nice. So I that's what I did yesterday. And also these onions that I planted here, they're doing very, very well. They're doing very, very well. I think they are okay. I think they're surviving. Yeah. This is what I did here too. The only thing that is left is at those edges there. I'll need that scissors tool, which I'll use to clip those ones at the end over there too, because I can't reach with the machines. So I'll use that scissors tool to get rid of that, So that's what I'll do. But otherwise, most of the areas are clean now. They were nicely cut yesterday. So everything's good. Looks like they're very good today. So today, I would like to choose anyway along this area some space where I will plant. I will prepare a small bed and then plant some plants. I put some seedlings that I'm going to buy from Bunnings. So I will go buy them. But before I go buy, I'll prepare the thing, and then or maybe what I'll do, I'll go buy the seedlings first, and then after that, then I'll start, so that I won't stop. But just after digging, then I'll just do the planting. So here, this is the bed that I did yesterday. It looks so good. I don't think that there will be any problem with this one. I think they are holding. But maybe I should wait. Before I say that, maybe I should wait until tomorrow to see whether they'll be okay. But as far as I'm concerned, they still look okay. And then that other side there, I need the scissors tool to cut those edges. And then here also, these are the beds that, anyway, here around, I will have to dig up and plant some of those seedlings that I'm gonna buy from Bunnings. So this area that's how it looks like here. It looks very good. I'm not complaining. It looks very, very nice. Very, very nice. So that's what it is. So that's what it is. So I don't know what happened to this one. Just fallen over. I don't know why. What's wrong here? Don't understand. Maybe it needs some support. I'll support it before I do anything else to make sure that it is supported, or tie it with this one so that they support each other. That's the other way of making these plants support each other. To tie them together so that they support each other. Tie them together like that. So yeah, like this, they'll be okay. But this is not the the final solution. I'll look for the better solution. Maybe get some sticks to support it so that it doesn't fall off. So I'll dig somewhere here to plant something. Yeah. So that's what it is. The vegetable, the lettuce garden is still doing very well, but because of the heat yesterday, most of it was burnt up. See, the heat was just bad yesterday, very, very bad. Most of these leaves will never be consumed. They are useless now. And look at this one. Very bad what was happening yesterday. All this, and that one too. There's a lot of wilting. I need to after doing all that stuff on the other side, digging and planting. I need to water these too, so that they'll be all right. That's what I will do. After finishing everything, I'll have to water all this. Really, that's what I will do. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Right. I'll start digging now. done. This is a nice bed. That's it, the one that I'll plant things on. So that's it, done the digging. So now I'll start putting some fertilizer, some manure, and also I will put some this maize stalk here. That's what I'll dig in, make sure that it is all underneath here. So that's what I'll be doing, or else maybe just put the manure only. I think that would be better. Leave the stalks for the other times, for the other areas, because here I'll put a lot of manure here. I'll put maybe 1.5 bags of cow and chicken manure. That's what I'll do here to make the area so fertile, so that it can support the plants that are now planted here. Yeah, so that's what I'll be doing. Make sure that this area is very fertile. Yes, to make sure it is very, very fertile, to support all the plants that are gonna plant here. Yes. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So I'm gonna get the bags of manure. Yeah, this is a cow manure. I'll put it, about half of it I'll put here, and then also put some chicken manure. I'll put it around, spread it evenly around. Spread it evenly. Put it evenly around. Ensure that everything is good. I want to make sure that this manure supports the plants that I want to plant here, because I always like that plants be supported by the preparation of the beds before you do any planting, to prepare, put the nutrients on the ground, so that when you bring the plants won't suffer. They could suffer from different things like maybe heat, that is beyond my control, but those other things that are within my control, I try by all means to make sure that I provide all those things that are required. Especially manure. There's plenty of manure around. There's a small farm somewhere in an area called Landilo. In Ilandilo, there's a farm where they produce eggs and also some milk from the cows, and then they also do some crop farming. They also sometimes find it selling honey, things like that. Maybe they've got beehives, I don't know. Yes. So I put a lot of manure here. Yes, I put a lot of manure. So I think it's okay now. I'll keep these ones, the remainder here, for some other areas that need manure. There's another area, another bed somewhere. I saw it at the front. I need to go and put this manure there, so that it is a good place to put some plants. I think I'll put the whole of this thing here, whole of this bag of manure. I'll put it here. No point for keeping it just down. So I'll use this garden fork. Here is the garden fork. Yeah, that's what it does a good job. This tool, it does a very, very good job because that is what it was designed for doing work like this. You know, leveling up the garden after the preparation, after preparing the beds. The best way to make everything work nicely is to use this one. It's a very good tool. So I always like using it. It's very, 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 very good. Very good tool. I think I'm done. I've done a good job here. It's very good that I've done here. Done a good job. Nice garden bed. Nice, very, very nice garden bed. Yeah, that's it. That's what I was aiming to do today. And I've done, I'm almost completed. Yes, this looks good. Put a lot of manure here. Now, what I'm supposed to do now is to plant. I think I'll be able to put a little bit also of chicken manure. Not too much, but a little bit of chicken manure. Chicken manure is very good because it has got a very high nitrogen content. So it will increase the fertility of the soil. So let me just put a little bit of it. Some kind of weight. It's like that. It smells a lot. That's the problem with it. It stinks. Stinks too much. Nothing I can do. Right, done. I'll tie it up and return it there where I got it near the compost bin. Just water these plants, otherwise they won't be. But it's not hot, not very hot today. Today is alright. It's windy and hey, very good. It's unbearable. If you are that kind of person who like to work, you can't say that it's too hot. You can just work.